Hello and welcome to Ear to the Ground. Well, dogs like Jess here are part of every working farm and indeed part of many urban homes. But should they really be farmed in Ireland? And with several new motorways and bypasses opening this year, Ella looks at the impact on the ground. Helen meets a Kilkenny farm family who are hitting the high notes with their musical talent. But first, does dog breeding in this country need more regulation? They're supposed to be man's best friend, and it's easy to see how a pup like this can melt hearts. But did you know that Ireland is one of the biggest producers of puppies in Europe, with over 30,000 being exported to the UK last year alone? It's a big business, but not one that everyone is comfortable with. Organisations like the DSPCA are strongly opposed to intensive dog breeding. At the moment there are at least 600 breeders countrywide, ranging from farmers with a couple of breeding bitches to much larger operations.
We have grave concerns about the welfare of the animals and the conditions they're being bred in. We've been involved in a number of cases where dogs were kept in completely unsanitary conditions with no access to light, adequate ventilation, proper food, veterinary care.
The vast majority of breeders look after their dogs extremely well. They know that their dogs are valuable. They know that if they mistreat them, they won't breed for them. And as a result, they simply will lose business. There's a very small minority not doing it well. In every profession, there are bad farmers out there, bad joiners. That's just the reality of it. We feel that it is a good industry. We've done a very, very good job with it. It's an industry that's worth an awful lot of money to the Irish economy. It's one industry that has never been subsidised by anyone. We've done it all on our own, and we've built up a massive market in the UK and abroad.
There was a time if you wanted a dog, you got onto your local farmer who just happened to have a fresh litter. These days it's a little bit different, with some of the largest dog farms in the state having up to 500 breeding bitches at any one time. David and Jonathan Hamilton are among the largest dog breeders in the country, based just over the border in County Tyrone.
Yeah, so
what do we got here?
This is a whelping shed.
A whelping shed?
Yeah, so this is where the bitches would come in to have their pups. They come in from the main kennel and they come into this building. So they're all centralised in one building.
So where a dairy farmer has a calving shed, you have a whelping shed?
Exactly.
Look at him, he's pretty cute.
Yeah.
How old would he be now?
That pup is...
You've got all the information written on the
bird down there. He's not a month old yet. He's about 3 weeks.
The pups stay here until they're 8 weeks old. Then they'll sell for an average of €300 a head, though they can fetch as much as €1,500 each for rare breeds in the UK. Until recently, the Hamiltons were beef farmers, but BSE nearly wiped them out. That's when they fell back on something their family had done for generations: dog breeding.
I think the reason that we have become so big at dog breeding is an economic one. While we love dogs and we enjoy working with dogs, dogs pay the bills here and they pay my mortgage.
Give us an idea of the range of breeds you have here.
Well, we have a large number of breeds, from the Chihuahua, which would be probably the smallest one, or the miniature Yorkie, right up to the Newfoundland, which is a giant dog. The dogs that are bred here are generally bitches that we have bred ourselves. A dog's breeding life, generally by breeding standards, would be a year old, but generally it's older than that and could be up to 2 years old before a dog is bred.
How many litters would she produce here?
1 litter a year would generally be the standard.
The dogs are all confined to kennels, which raises the issue of whether they get enough exercise or not.
When a dog is reared in that environment, he doesn't know anything else. He has never, I can go to a dog pen, open the door, and the dog actually won't want to run outside because it's something he's never done. He's quite content and happy in the kennel that he's in.
We've designed our kennels that they do exercise within the kennel. Now, if the vet would specify a dog that he felt needed attention in terms of behaviour, in terms of body condition, just for exercise, well, then that animal is taken to one side and he gets exercised.
Another concern is how well socialised the dogs can be. In other words, how familiar they are with human contact, something that's vital for animals destined to be pets.
To care for animals appropriately, it's labour intensive to ensure that the animal has, the adequate care, socialisation, exercise. We have real concerns when we're looking at a commercial situation where huge numbers of animals, in excess of 100 animals, 200 animals, are being cared for by maybe only 3 or 4 people. The maths doesn't add up.
Jerry Smith, who breeds 50 bitches, disagrees that dogs bred intensively can't be well socialised.
We work with dogs daily, and when we're not talking to them, we keep a radio with them. We always keep human contact from the day they're born. So when that pup comes into a family home, it's not scared of the television or the radio or people shouting or people talking. It is already heard it from its born. We exercise all our dogs all the time, and we have a big field there in the back there where we exercise all our dogs.
But is it possible for you to exercise them all? I mean, you can't just let them all out and mill around, they tear stripes off each other.
But no. But if you notice, our dogs are not cramped in small pens. Our dogs is all in big pens.
So you're saying that every single dog here gets out every day unless they're whelping?
Well, they would get out at least 3 times a week.
Dogs must be bred somewhere, so they have to be bred in a licensed premises, somewhere where there's good standards and good controls.
The Minister for the Environment, John Gormley, recently introduced legislation to regulate the industry.
We are concerned about individuals, unscrupulous individuals in some cases, who understand that there is a lucrative business out there and who don't have the best interests of the animals at heart.
But Canine Breeders Ireland are worried that responsible dog breeders are also being targeted by this bill.
We have dog breeders whose licence fee will go up by over 18 times. What Minister Gormley is doing with these fees seems to be going against everything else that's been done in these islands in Europe, which is to keep the fees low, to get the establishments in.
There's also serious disagreement as to whether local authority dog wardens are the right people to carry out inspections of premises.
The dog wardens are people who have an interest in animal welfare. They are, I think, adequately qualified to carry out these functions.
They're about the neutering of animals, the rehoming of animals. Their policy is against the breeding of animals. So how you would expect them to come into breeding establishments and tell a dog breeder what to do, it's entirely contrary to that whole field. The message that's coming from this bill is that it's wrong to breed dogs, and we would have a problem with that.
Anybody who is in the business, who is complying with the proper standards, has absolutely nothing to fear.